Welcome everyone to round 3 of Blood on the Bayou circuit, hosted by The Adventure Begins here in Houston, Texas. I am Josh. I am here with my co-caster Charles, and we are in round 3, bringing you the coverage here. Charles, what do we have in store here for round number 3?
So it looks like for this round we are going to have Arachne Marionette, piloted by Robert Ramsey, versus Zuri Switchblade, piloted by Evan Ford. This is going to be the Assassin Mirror with two very different assassins, so it's going to be very exciting to see what we will, or who will come out ahead in the terms of this assassin gameplay.
I'm pretty excited to see this. I know that the players are getting ready here, so we'll go ahead and get that rolling. I know that Evan has been playing assassin for a very long time. Very, very good assassin player. Rob, just all around a really good player, has jumped through many decks for a long time. So I'm excited to see how this shakes out with someone that's like a veteran on assassin, and then Rob here, kind of the newcomer to the class, if you will. But,
yeah, and I would say these are definitely the two most interesting assassins, right? We have Zuri on one hand, who, with the new sets, with all the new assassin support, is getting even trickier to play against. The play lines are a lot more complex, and you really don't know what the Zuri player is going to play. But on the other hand, we have Robert playing the new assassin, Arachne Marionette, and the many demi-hero forms that he has access to, just going to shake up the way the game is played.
I'm really interested to see here if Evan's going to be on a heavy mark package, or if it's going to be kind of this more attack react type assassin here. It looks like Evan will be starting out with turn 0 here. See if he has anything he wants to do, or if he's going to pass to Arsenal here. Going to start out with a scale peeler.
I believe that's the nerve scalpel.
That is definitely a nerve scalpel. My bad.
And that is going to affect both attack reactions and defense reactions on the block. It's going to be the persuasive prognosis follow-up into just the Arsenal pass. And so if we look at the equipment, right, the majority of it's the same. We have the tunic, we have the flick knives, but then we get, the Snapdragon Scalers versus the Black Tech Whisper. That is the defense piece or the leg piece that they are both choosing to use. Marionette wanting to be slightly more aggressive. Evan just choosing when he wants to be aggressive and when he wants to be defensive.
Rob here going to start out with the Clave, see if how much Evan is going to respect the mark coming out from this Marionette. Thinking about it here, just takes the one and gets marked right off.
So the hero text on Marionette is active, giving stealth attacks +1 with the on-hit go again. It's going to be the Reaper's Call coming in for 4 go again.
Just taking it. Evan really liking this hand, saying, actually give me some disruption that I really care about here.
Yeah, it looks like we're seeing a Kiss of Death in the hand of Evan, maybe potentially trying to go wide with that flick knives.
I don't think Mark of Prey is going to be the disruption he's really caring too much about. Just seeing if he can convert the entire hand here, probably. There is a codex that is in pitch, so I'm going to save that for later. Do you think we're going to get down to second cycle here?
I would say most likely. Both of these heroes are also going to do deck damage to each other, so second cycle will come a little bit faster than a standard game.
Very good.
It looks like just the 1 card block there. Evan going into his turn, 3 cards in hand, 1 in arsenal.
Leading off with the Enlightened Strike. Going to assume go again.
Robert deciding what he wants to defend with.
What else did Evan have in the hand there that he was working with?
So we knew it was the Kiss of Death. It looks like it's the up sticks and run into this Kiss of Death, going to be for 7. With the on hit, take 1 additional point of life.
Notably, he's not going to be able to flick this as he doesn't have anything else to follow it up and get off the active chain link here. Covered up easily with the sink below. Oh, there it is.
Ooh, the response. Flick knives, flicking the nerve scalpel, making that sink below defend for one less, pushing the on hit here for Kiss of Death.
Evan's showing he does have the retrieve package, so definitely going to be able to use these use these daggers pretty liberally here to push through the hits here. Moving back over to Rob here, and we'll see what he's working with.
It is a Kiss of Death of his own. Does also have the flick knives, should he choose to flick a Hunter's Clave and mark his opponent.
These Kiss of Deaths are so crazy. It's just being able to flick for 2 is so nasty.
Looks like Robert did not want to proceed with that turn, deciding to pass back. It's going to be a pick up the point for Evan. He's going to go ahead and retrieve here.
Getting the dagger back. Looks like he's running the heavy retrieve package. It's going to be pretty interesting. I actually think this is pretty cool. Being able to flick the daggers and then on the combat chain, be able to make it so your blocks are so much more difficult to deal with, as you don't know if he's going to flick on you. So Rob just taking the damage there. It feels like we're in an aggro race. They're just kind of taking it, not really blocking too terribly much.
Yeah, and I think Evan, not only is he at a life advantage, but Zuri can play off of smaller hands. A little bit better than Arachne Marionette. So if the game does turn into more of a blocking game, I think Azuri is also favored in that front.
I've talked to Evan about it a few times, and he said that if he's in a match where both heroes are sub 10, he doesn't want to be on any other hero besides Azuri. It's his favorite spot to be in. Both heroes sub 10, just playing the 2 and 3 card hands. He's super comfortable in that aspect.
And we are seeing the Reaper's Call coming out. It's got the Orb Weaver Spinneret buff. And I believe...
Going what? Oh, I wish I remember what this was called. But he's going to be able to go to the graveyard and going to banish the... Man, I am really good at assassin cards, I'll tell you that. I've got to work on that. What is that card, dude?
Keep talking. Well, it's going to be Take Up the Mantle is coming through. You're going to swap that Reaper's Call for another card with Stealth.
Yeah, he has it in Banish. I forgot what it's called.
And that is the Bonds of Agony. He's going to go ahead and get the on-hit. There are 2 Pick Up the Points in the hand for Evan. We've already seen the first one be played, so should he choose it, there goes all 3 options of retrieve at this point.
So looking for scrap is left, along with another stealth card. Now Rob getting so much information now, being able to know exactly what the Azuri is up to. Gets to look through the entire deck. This card...
And this is very good information. The fact that Robert can see Evan's deck, look at what he could possibly have, what's not in there. He's able to plan his turns out accordingly going forward. So the Bonds of Agony hit here actually provides Robert a significant advantage in terms of just information on what Evan wants to be doing going forward.
On top of doing 13 damage, which was a pretty crazy damage there. Knows how many do-reacts to expect, what kind of attack reactions to expect. So Zuri going to come in with the Spider's Bite, and then the looking for a scrap following that up. Just going to push a little bit of damage here.
So deciding to use looking for a scrap here, we could see a potential Codex play if Evan decides he wants to dump his hand, but it looks like no, he will just end his turn here.
Save the arsenal for another day. Does have two? Is that two codexes in hand? Oh man, not fun seeing those clump together.
I believe he has a sync below, so if anything, he can sync one of those for later and try to play out that sync, the other codex for this turn.
Pain in the backside coming out here.
Three go again, threatening the flick.
Does Rob have both his claves still? Looks like he's down to one.
I believe he had to flick as a reaction for the Bonds of Agony on the previous turn.
That's right.
So down one Hunter's Clave. Of course, Rob must be running a similar retrieve package. So those Hunter's Claves will be back.
Easy cover up with the boots and the Crown of Providence. Is Evan going to do any? Is the Azuri player going to do anything here? And gonna put the arsenal down and get another card off the top.
Evan spilling his deck slightly, gonna clean it back up. And it's interesting that he chose not to sync one of his codexes here. If he was worrying about the two codex hand, of course, with them being yellow pitches, they'll pitch into daggers very cleanly. So maybe just wanting to open up the arsenal space to play the codex on his next turn.
Infect coming in here, threatening a Blood Rot Pox. Just some damage. But again, we're already sub 20. So maybe having to respect that here. There is one card that Rob is holding. Trying to decide if he's going to be able to push this over here. Evan lining up a block. And Rob just moving to Arsenal.
And I would say this was a very good turn cycle for Rob. He got the Crown of Providence for really no value other than Evan wanting the 2 block off of it. And then we're getting one more piece of block off of those Black Tech Whispers.
But Evan is lining up here with the go again. Getting the Enlightened Strike. I'm going to try and go a little bit wide. He does have the 2 codexes in hand. Going to use one of them to send the Spider's Bite.
And the E-Strike is very good here. It lets him play more of his hand, not get stuck with extra cards when he wants to play this codex.
Exactly.
And Rob, seeing one codex being pitched, can only expect the second codex to be played here.
Going to go in there and grab the...
I believe the best option here was a Kiss of Death.
He has not seen his Leave No Witnesses yet. Tough block with the Spider's Bite out. Still takes the 2. And being able to refill the arsenal. Man, Codex is such a good card. Just such a good card. Turning off the daggers for the Marionette as well. Another pain in the backside coming out.
It's going to most likely warrant another block from Evan. Looks like that'll be just the case. And the Leave No Witnesses coming out.
Ooh, and he
Sync
has
to
the
cover
sync.
it up.
He has the sync. Easy cover. Very good. Life total still staying almost at parity here, 17 to 18, and there's the Savor Bloodshed. This is such a good combo to come out of the Hunted. Savor Bloodshed and a Kiss of Death. The dagger attack, just so crazy.
Yeah, and while Azuri can't make use of the go again portion like Arachne Slip Through the Cracks can to actually flick the Kiss of Death, he is running both the Savor Bloodshed and the Up Sticks and Run to try to buff this card up if he's able to get them together.
Gives it the go again. And going to flick it. They're going to flick the Nerve Scalpel there to knock down the Fate Foreseen. Get the hit through.
Ooh, and the Leave No Witnesses follow-up off the Ponder from last turn.
Just ripping it off the top. Sometimes it's just better to be lucky than good. That's a crazy Ponder target, though. That's so good to see that come out there.
Yeah, Robert already expending 2 cards from hand. His blocking equipment is a little worse than Evan's blocking equipment, so just forced to take it. Gonna take up the mantle. And it looks like a backstab as well.
Now the Arsenal, I can see why Rob definitely passed up that Arsenal there. Not a crazy Arsenal target to have, just another stealth card. But saving 2 cards, going to go into this turn cycle and see if he can make the exact same play. The Saber, Bloodshed, and the Kiss of Death. Getting covered up very quickly with the defense reaction, and it looks like was another Saber. Bloodshed.
Yeah, I think Evan literally drew up 2 Leave No Witnesses, 2 Shelter from the Storms.
Crazy. Coming in again with the Leave No Witnesses. No Arsenal, just damage here. And a little bit of deck damage, flipping 1 off the top.
Well, and Robert sitting at 10 life, so 4 damage is nothing to scoff at this point in the game.
I mean, the silver, getting the silver as well. Gets the silver.
Ooh, hits the Leave No Witnesses.
Can buy the boots back too. Crazy value coming out from that. That was a good
another Saber Bloodshed drawn by Evan, as well as another defense reaction.
Just power turn after power turn here. It's gonna be pretty crazy. Let's see what Rob can do. He is holding a 3-card hand, and he's down 12. Let's see if he can make something up. Takes the tunic off. Marks.
So it's going to be the Orb Weaver Spinneret into the Public Bounty into the Infect. This is going to be coming in for 9 on hit. Blood Rot Pox token.
And if not, he
will...
Or
10 since he is marked with the on hit of Go Again.
See what Evan's going to do here. He's going to commit the defense reaction. He's 3 in, another Shelter, another Sink. Does he sink here? Man. Found all his D-Reacts clump, but on top of that, also finding the 0 for 4 and the Leave No Witnesses with that has been being able to convert these hands really nicely.
And it looks like we're going to see our first transformation in the game. I believe that is a 3, which should give us Arachne Orb Weaver, if I'm not mistaken.
I am very bad with my Arachnes. I will say that. Gonna buy the boots back off the Leave No Witnesses. Just the value keeps rolling off of that hit on that card. 2-card hand, Saber Bloodshed.
Oh, and it's the Saber Bloodshed into Kiss of Death one more time from Evan. Evan giving a little chuckle there. Robert smiling as well.
Seeing all 3 of them all together in almost back-to-back hands. It's pretty crushing, pretty difficult to deal with this. Let's see what Rob can do. I think I see a Fate Foreseen in hand. Going to commit the Mask and the Tunic.
The Mask of Deceit, since Evan is marked, will allow him to choose which Arachne to transform into. At this point, Robert might say, I need to be more defensive. We'll sweat to Trapdoor, get a trap out of the deck, try to stay a little bit defensive in the situation. It looks like that's going to be the thought going on his side.
I think he's trying to see if he still has some in the deck. I don't think I've seen any traps come out. He has Codex, D-React, and I can't tell what else is in there. So let's see what he wants to do here with this. Thinking about it nice and hard. He is down 12. So pretty critical moment. He's not marked, so there is no draw from Saber Bloodshed. It is just the damage. And it is a lot. So even leaking 1 through is gonna take 2 damage from the Kiss of Death because of the Kiss of Death on hit. Tunic is up, no cards in hand, so doesn't look like he really have a follow-up. He could flick Spider's Bite though. So if Evan does flick Spider Bites, it makes your blocking a little bit more difficult to try and figure out. Looks like Rob is transforming.
Looks like it's going to be the Arachne Black Widow was the choice off of the Mask of Deceit.
Looks like Evan's saying damage is good enough here.
Yeah, he does not have the Nerve Scalpel at the moment, so this Flick Knives will not get value off of the defense reaction.
Go, just moving on. I think I see a just a nick in there. He just drew up.
We have another Shelter from the Storm in the hand of Evan. Another defense reaction, should he want to respect this.
Here comes the Bonds. He's got 2 cards in hand and the Flick. So sitting on Evan's side, you're thinking that Bonds is live, right?
Yeah, with the Flick Knives and the Snapdragon Scalers alone, that's 2 reactions. So it'd be very easy for Rob to get the 3 reaction requirement for this case.
Evan looking like he has the D-React. Did you see it? I didn't. No. It looks like he has a CNC in there at least. Trying to look through.
I believe his hand was a CNC and a Shelter from the Storm. Did not quite see what else he had in his hand as he did not reveal it to us.
So Evan trying to look through and see if he can glean kind of what to expect coming out of here. I don't think we've seen any just a nicks, which is, the really scary one, pushing a ton of damage. But trying to figure out what he can get away with here in terms of blocks and still maybe have some sort of turn to threaten on the other side, or at least have a good arsenal target, right?
Yeah, and Evan giving a good thought on what Robert could potentially have in this situation. There's so many unknowns for this turn.
So if I'm sitting on Evan's side, are you thinking that you're just trying to make it out of here with as little damage as possible and just
You could say that. You could also say that, I have a 12-point life lead and a 4-card hand. You can turn on the reactions and hit me for a lot of damage, but if that's all you're doing, then that is what it is. It looks like Evan was instead just going to opt for the defensive approach, just blocking 9 on it. Robert does have an opportunity to just use the Snapdragon Scalers at this point and continue his turn.
Evan just saying, yeah, if you got it, go over 9, and then I got the D-React for 4 more.
Yeah, and it looks like Robert is just decided, you've committed 3 cards to block this 1 card. I'm just going to use the Snapdragon Scalers, continue this turn. You have pretty much no more defensive options for the turn.
Saver Bloodcheck coming in with the Clave, pitching the Codex to play the Clave. And he is marked, so it is a draw on here, on hit.
And I believe the Black Tech Whisperer should have a -1 defense counter from a previous turn, if I'm not mistaken. If not, there'd be no point in defending since the Hunter's Clave itself has piercing, but what will Evan do? Only 4 defense on order.
He can't cover this up, so it's just, are we preserving life, or are we just saying, you know what, you got it, let me see if I can actually cover up some other on hit on this chain. So difficult to block these decks, you're like expecting so many defense reactions or so many attack reactions that come out, and then all of a sudden they react and just kind of go around you and say, you know what, you block 9, I don't care, here's 5 on hit draw. It's so tough with these assassins. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, and it's going to be very interesting going forward how each assassin is going to evolve from meta to meta, especially with the next set High Seas coming up in just a couple months.
Evan putting the Tunic out with 3 counters on it, and then putting the Shelter out as well.
So yeah, forced to block with the Tunic in this case to get over the piercing. So now blocking with Black Tech and Tunic will braze the Hunter's Clave up to 6, and then the Shelter will shore up the rest of it.
He flicks the Calicera at him, taking the mark off.
Drawing the card regardless.
Kind of didn't matter how you blocked, he was going to get the draw there. Now Rob deciding how he's going to continue the turn with an arsenal and a card in hand. Evan, no cards left. Just taking the 3.
Just the Mark of the Black Widow coming in off the top. We will now return to the Brood, becoming Arachne Marionette once again.
Evan just going to have to pass the turn. That was a crazy turn from Rob.
Yeah, now Robert has full tempo for this game going forward. If he can apply enough pressure to Evan, take as many cards from hand to hand, he might be able to swing the life total back in his favor at this point in time.
I think I did see a sink below in there, though. Pitching the shred, sending out the clave.
If this Arachne Marionette hero wants to mark as much as possible, turn on his hero ability, turn on his card effects, it's just going to be that clave every single turn.
And not able to just push the boots in front of it either with the piercing makes it so difficult to block. You got to have the 2-block equipment. All right, so what is Evan thinking here? Is he saying, you know what? You got me last turn. I still have most of my life. You know what? I'm just going to convert the best I can on this hand. If that means block 3, I'll block 3, but whatever. Does he have room to start respecting the mark?
I think that depends on what he wants to do in terms of hand texture. There's only so much that you can do if your hand doesn't line up correctly. And Azuri is a good blocking hero. You can block with 2 cards. Send a stealth card and then swap it out.
Sending the backstab, can't play in the D-reacts there, just taking the damage.
That's fine. That was only damage on the side of Robert. No on-hits, which means Evan has an opportunity to crack back. And we are seeing this with the Persuasive Prognosis. And this is very interesting in Azuri because you don't know if this Persuasive is going to be buffed by a Just a Nick or another reaction, or if it's going to be swapped out for an even more lethal effect. And Robert has to think about the many opportunities or possibilities that Evan could have at this point in time.
And he's got an arsenal he wants to protect. CNC is always scary. Shakedown, we haven't seen any of those come in. Rob lining up 3 cards to respect this already. I mean, that feels like really heavy respect coming out. And he has the black tech, so he can just say, you know what? Oh, he just says IPs himself by 1, does the IP 1, and moves on. Leave no witnesses.
Good 1-card play.
This bread and butter of assassins with the leave no witnesses, very good. Threatening the
just
arsenal.
Just the 0 for 4s coming through, threatening certain on hits. Evan having to make the decision to take this or to block. Is that arsenal good enough to defend?
So deciding what he's going to do here. Look through the graveyard to see what kind of reactions could push it over, and what kind of damage to be expecting out of this leave no witnesses. As there is still a card in hand, is that just an arsenal target for Rob? It's what Evan's trying to suss out. Looking through his own deck, trying to figure out what to do with it. I didn't see what was in Evan's hand. I think he has just a Nick left over from the last turn, where he didn't want to commit to not push through a ton of damage. So,
it looks like Evan wants to stay aggressive. He might not even defend this. And it looks like, no, he's taking the damage. Send me the bill. The Command and Conquer getting banished from Arsenal. Silver generated for Robert. Evan just wants to take complete tempo of this game. Back away from Robert at this point in time.
So this is where Evan has talked about, to me, I'm super comfortable in these below 10 kind of situations. But this is an assassin mirror, where you don't really know what they're kind of up to, So gonna start out.
And the isolate, a very good start.
Just a Nick.
Double just a Nick at this point in time on a blue isolate. This is gonna be for 11. Is there any way Robert can get out of this?
Does he have the D-react?
And he does not.
Even with it may. That was pretty crazy. Very tight. The
Ooh,
assassin mirror.
what a stellar turn. Robert did have the defense reaction, but because Isolate itself has Dominate, he could not deploy it in that point.
That was
very good turn from Evan to close the game out.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. He definitely had on the previous turn cycle was able to put in was going to be able to Azuri in the Command and Conquer or put the Justinic over, and with Rob blocking 9, would just held it to the next turn and then drew up the second Justinic, able to push over just tons of damage. Really great game from the both of them. The Assassin Mirror is, I don't envy being on either side of that. That is it's a really tough place to be in making those blocking calls.
Yeah, and we saw some very impressive turns from both sides. Just the Saber Bloodsheds coming in and showing why it's such a good card in both decks, along with that Kiss of Death. Just very impressive gameplay. It was very enjoyable to watch at this point.
All right, so thank you all. I think that's going to be it for us. Thank you all for joining us. This has been round 3 of the Blood on the Bayou circuit. Come back. Round 4 will be coming to you soon.